In a world where sports have stretched beyond the fabric of reality and podcasts became as common as potholes, there were two guys in Morgantown, West Virginia who desired to do something different. These two guys came up with an idea to bring real life back to the arena of sports and hopefully be somewhat entertaining along the way. These two guys are certainly no experts, and they're definitely not comedians. They just think they are. This is the Extra Medium Podcast, and here are those two guys.
And here we go. Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Extra Medium Sports Podcast. How did we come up with such a strange name? Well, it's just because we are two plus-size guys living in an extra medium world. Hello, and welcome, everyone. I am Justin Jackson, sports editor of the Dominion Post.
And I'm Matt Amory, former WVU lineman and state champion at Morgantown High.
We begin today with congratulating another state champion.
Let's go, baby!
The football team on winning its sixth state championship following a 28-21 victory against Martinsburg High in last weekend's Class Quad A state title matchup.
What a game. I'm getting hyped just talking about it.
It is a game that literally came down to the last play of the game, and we will be discussing that here in just a little bit. Also, Clay Battelle was also in the Class A state championship game, and they lost to Wheeling Central 56-34 in that game, though, Matt. 1,087 yards of total offense.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We will break down both of those title games as well as what was a terrific weekend of state championship games in Charleston. We will have Michael Griffith of the Dominion Post to help us wrap up the high school football season and the title matchups that were.
We got a great show. Also on the show today, we have breaking news concerning the West Virginia football team. The running back depth got a little smaller after the announcement of Jaheim White and Dior Hubbard will enter the transfer portal. We got the man Spencer today. He'll be joining us for his reactions.
We also have a special guest alert.
Special guest alert.
For the first time on the podcast, we are going to break into the recruiting discussion.
Let's go.
We've got recruiting analyst Keenan Cummings from Rivals.com who will be on the show a little bit later today. But first, Matt, we got a new sponsor. Tell them who it is.
I'd be glad to. The Extra Medium Sports Podcast is brought to you by the Hotel Morgan. Whether you're interested in hosting a sophisticated corporate retreat, a joyful baby shower, or a spectacular wedding reception, Hotel Morgan provides a backdrop steeped in nearly a century of Morgantown history, reimagined with the boutique comfort and 1920s era charm. We take pride in making every event a memorable and stylish experience.
And Matt, where can you find the podcast?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You can always find a link to the Extra Medium Sports Podcast at www.dominionpost.com or find us on social media at Spotify and YouTube.
It's now time to bring in Michael Griffith,
the legend,
as we turn our attention to the state championship weekend that was in Charleston. Morgantown High knocked off two-time defending champ Martinsburg for the Class Quad A title. Mm-hmm. That game came down to the final play in which Martinsburg quarterback Brian Dick mistakenly spiked the ball on fourth down to stop the clock in the final seconds. Yeah. Michael, a ton of stuff happened. Basically, 3 of the 4 title games came down to the final play of the game.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the Martinsburg-Morgantown game. What was your reaction from watching that game live?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, Brian Dick unfortunately did spike the ball on fourth down with about 5 seconds to go. But, you know, that is not the one play that defines the game. There were so many moments in this game. And you know, I thought that the Morgantown offense would prepare well for this one when we talked last week. And I thought that they did. And their defense also played really well. It was just really complimentary football for MHS, and you know that's what wins games. And they turned it around 360 from the first time they played Martinsburg.
I want to get into the series though, the final series.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Martinsburg had just converted a fourth down with a long pass. Well, not a long pass, but a good.
Yeah.
It was one heck of a play.
Incredible.
Game
incredible play.
To receiver Boston Todd converts so they go now first down and goal. They're out of timeouts. Mm-hmm. So they spike the ball on first down to stop the clock. So now you're talking about, 15, 18 seconds. Yeah. Second down, they run a quarterback sweep play, gets out of bounds, stops the clock now. So now you're talking about
probably 10-ish.
Yeah, 10, 12 seconds left. So now it's third and goal at the 8-yard line. Matt, I need your reaction right here. Third down and goal at the 8. No timeouts. There's
15.
Yeah, 12 seconds. And they ran a quarterback ISO up the middle.
Oh.
And it gains a yard. So now it's 4th and goal at the 7. But now the clock is running.
Yes.
Now
Tick,
chaos
tick,
is
tick,
ensuing.
tick, tick.
Yes.
You don't have any timeouts left.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that call on 3rd down.
I think that call, and after we talked about this a little bit before the show, that call kind of set up for the mistake that Brian Dick made, and I can empathize with this mistake. And I'm glad he has another season.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have to end his high school career with this, but he's going to be thinking about that, and I empathize with the kid. But I don't think the coaches helped put him in a good situation.
Yeah.
If this was NFL, if this was in Philadelphia or New York Giants, they might be calling for an offensive coordinator to whatever. But I don't think they put him in a good position. It kind of hurts me, but at the same time, go Mohegans. But from a strictly football standpoint, X's and O's, I don't like the call. It was toward the
right hash.
The right hash as well. He did everything he could, and
yeah,
it's a tough way to lose such a hard-fought game. And Legend, you mentioned this before. It wasn't just that play.
Sure,
it was not just that play. Sure. However, it's a game of inches. This is how it. This is what happens in the state championship.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have even had that play to tie it if it wasn't for Brian Dick. Obviously, in the game, he had a really good game for them. But yeah, I think it was just like that. It came a play too late. You know what I mean? It was like they were behind a down.
Yes.
I think they were trying to do everything a down too late when it comes to that.
Well
last
said.
4 plays,
Exactly.
I guess we could say. And honestly, I was standing behind the end zone that they were coming toward, and so the scoreboard was behind me. I don't even know if I realized it was 4th down either. And when he spiked it, everybody's standing back there. We're like, what's going on? And then the ref points the other way, and I'm like,
it's
oh my gosh,
surreal.
Did that just happen? I'm like, there's no way that just happened.
I did have a chance to talk with Martinsburg coach Dave Walker after the game, and they had he told me they had a play signaled in. They were going to throw a pass to Boston Todd on 4th down.
Yeah.
The play was signaled in. Now the problem of it is kind of like Michael was alluding to. The clock is running.
The clock is
it's
going.
under 10 seconds.
Scrambling.
So it's 9 seconds, 8, 7, 7, 6 seconds. The quarterback probably looks, right? And you look at that scoreboard, you see that clock getting low. So probably, whether or not he had the play call in his mind or he saw the play call getting called in, his first instinct, and probably everyone's
first instinct
would be to stop the clock.
Get that clock to stop. If the clock continues, we obviously lose.
Yeah.
We need to do what it takes to get it to stop. It's a tough situation.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation. I can empathize. I even had I was telling the guys earlier, from a kid, I remember missing a basketball shot in Big Brother in like 4th grade. So, and to this day, I still even think about that. So I hope this doesn't affect him negatively. I don't think it will, but I can empathize with you. And
yeah. But like we said, not to take away from what the Mohegans
not to take away from what the Mohegans did, and
which is where I'm going to go to next, because on the flip side of the story is the performance by Maddox Twig of Morgantown High.
Yeah,
Michael, we can talk about the numbers real quick. 316 total yards. The asterisk there is that Morgantown High finished with 306 yards.
Yeah,
kind of talk about the significance of what Twig did with those stats.
Man, you take that guy off of that field, defensively, offensively, and you know it. I mean, he was on one arm and one leg pretty much for half of the second half. And I think he missed about 10 minutes of game time.
He came out of the game with the cramps, and it was pretty severe cramps.
Yeah.
It was with 2:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and he came back in. It was about 5 minutes left to go in the 4th.
Yeah, I think he missed 2 offensive series, and in that time, it was a cumulative of negative 10 yards of offense for Morgantown High. So Maddox Twig finished the game with 316 total yards to his name, while the team only finished with less than 10, or 10 less than that at 306. So
we talk about the offensive performance, But Legend, when he hits you, when Maddox Twig hits you, it's different. The reaction is different. Yeah. Man, that guy can fly.
He's just got really good instincts when it comes to playing football. And like I was telling you coming into the studio today, he gets all these tackles from safety.
From the secondary position. Like this guy is flying. Like a frozen rope.
He beats all other 10 defensive guys to the tackle, and he's the farthest back in the formation. But yeah, you're right. I think he made the very first play. Brian Dick took the ball up the middle, and Maddox put a good hit on him.
Yes.
And from that, you kind of saw the two players looking, and it's like, this is how it's going to be today. You know what I mean? So, and then the next play, fumble.
Next play, fumble. And I was like, who hit him? Who hit who? And it was Maddox Twig.
So, yeah, just an all-around game for him. Really, not that his name wasn't on the map already, but that just solidified his name as the prospect in West Virginia and the next name to talk about in high school football.
Maddox Twig's final numbers from that game: 181 yards passing, 135 yards rushing. How many touchdowns?
4 total
touchdowns. It gives him, 45 on the year,
45
right?
on the year, 19 in the postseason alone. Also, he went over 1,000 total yards alone in the postseason as well. That's only 4 games. That means 250 at least per game. The kid's just phenomenal.
Two things that I'll remember about Twig's performance, and they didn't really have anything to do about Twig. So I'm standing. I went over to the Martinsburg sideline during the third quarter, and this was before Maddox had come out of the game. So Maddox, there's plays where he drops a dime in the bucket, right? Converts a first down. There's plays where he's scrambling, converts a third down into a first down, keeping drives alive, making these fantastic plays. I'm watching the Martinsburg assistant coaches. There's this one. He had a black jacket. He had a black, sweatsuit kind of thing on. And I don't know if he was an offensive guy or a defensive guy. He's got his headset on. Every time Maddox made a play, he just starts throwing his arms up in the air and has this look of disbelief on his face. There was another guy, an assistant coach. I'm pretty sure he was a defensive guy. He's doing the same thing. He's throwing his arms up there like they can't believe can't believe what they're seeing from this kid. The second thing that I'll always remember is a quote from Dave Walker after the game when I asked him about Maddox Twig. And he said, the scariest thing about Maddox Twig is he's only a sophomore.
Yep.
If he was a senior out there running around and doing that stuff, that would be one thing, but he still has 2 years left of high school. That was his quote. And I was like, man, that's a fantastic quote.
It's a fantastic quote.
That's a great way to sum up just how special and dangerous Maddox Twig is.
And he also told you that they did plan for him. They planned. They made a game plan to stop him. They thought that they had a good thing against him, but they literally just couldn't do it. And I mean, when Dave Walker, one of the best coaches of West Virginia high school football history, tells you that he planned for you, but he couldn't stop you, I think you're pretty good at football.
And you're 16 years old?
You just turned 16. The kid just got his license last week, I think.
And it's also interesting seeing a Morgantown High team. I mean, they've always been loaded in skill positions, but seeing it at quarterback, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to get into some of the other action. Class AA, number 1 Frankfort defeated number 2 Bluefield 49-42. In that game, Michael, Kelton, is it Kelton or Keaton? Keaton Nestor caught a 43-yard touchdown with 3 seconds left in the game, Matt, to win the game.
I mean,
how do you let a guy get open with 3 seconds left in the game?
Incredible.
43 yards.
Yeah, thrown by Braden Tyler.
Right. And so Frankfort goes on. That caps an undefeated season.
Yeah, it does. 28-game win streak, 2 undefeated seasons in a row for Frankfort.
Wow.
Second title straight. We talked about Wahama and Bridgeport having 25-game win streaks broken this year. Frankfort's, they're
still
sailing.
rolling.
Here we go. Forget the 25 games. We're on to 30, 35 if we can. But yeah, like Justin's talking about, Frankfort is a run-heavy team. They run the wing tee a lot. They like those wildcat formations. And Braden Tyler and their coach as well said in the postgame that just this week they installed this wildcat formation. And in the game, they had run that play multiple times from the wildcat where Braden Tyler, who isn't typically the quarterback, gets the ball and, we'll take off on a direct snap. This time, instead, they run the same formation, the same play. Braden Tyler gets the ball and rolls to his right. And, when you're playing Madden and it's 5 seconds left and you're in the lead, what defense you playing, Matt? You put it on that prevent, baby.
Yeah, I put on that prevent. Put
3 people in the backfield
I might
and tell
pull a
them
D-lineman.
exactly.
Get my 6'6" guy back there.
Don't let anybody
don't
behind
let anybody behind you, guys.
Braden Tyler takes the handoff kind of to the right, to the hash. And as soon as he looks like he was going to tuck
those guys start creeping up.
He said he saw the back of the jersey of his teammate, and he chucks it up there.
Oh, man.
Nobody around him.
Oh, man.
He's running to the end zone. He's running to the other. It was just an insane finish.
There's 3 seconds left.
I mean,
3 seconds left.
And then we had the Class AAA game. Number 2 Princeton defeated number 5 Nitro 36-35. This one also goes down to the wire, Matt. In that, Nitro scored a touchdown with 1 minute and 17 seconds left to go in the game. So now that makes it 36-35. They can kick the extra point to tie the game, essentially send it to overtime.
Got you.
Yep.
They elect to go for 2, and the pass gets broken up.
Yep.
And
what?
That's the end of that game. So that game basically goes down to the final play of the game.
Yeah, we had 3 state championship football games this weekend that were decided by 1 possession and were all decided in the final 75 seconds.
But it's fitting for the wonderful year of West Virginia high school football we got from all classes.
Yeah, I think it was a really good weekend of football. And the craziest thing, and we're probably going to get into this too, so many of these kids on this field were not seniors. I mean, they were sophomores out there doing their thing. There were juniors out there doing their thing. There were some freshmen out there doing their thing. So the future is also very bright.
There's some guys we're going to be talking about in the next coming seasons. Hey, what were your thoughts being at Laidley Field compared to Wheeling Island?
Well, I personally had never been to a state title game at Wheeling Island before.
Gotcha,
as media, I had been there as a fan one time. But I attended a lot of football at Laidley Field. I went to Capital High School,
gotcha.
And that's our home field for football. It says Capital High in the end zones. And I was a member of the marching band, so I went to every single game for 4 years. Even the away games, we drove to those. But it's a good place to watch football. Charleston does have football fans. There's a lot of good football teams around there that they draw crowds. When they're not a team that they would typically support. But my biggest argument is not the location really, is the times. They need to change. They got to change the game times.
Friday at noon is tough.
Friday at noon is not. Is not a plausible game. I'd say make the Friday game like a 4:00 game and then do 3 games on Saturday. That's my take.
I like it.
Oh. The Class A, as we mentioned earlier, the Class A state championship game saw number 1 Wheeling Central win its 13th state title, all of them since 1979. 56-34 victory over the Clay-Battelle Seabees, which, of course, were making their first state title appearance in the sport of football. As I said earlier, 1,087 yards of offense combined from both of those schools, which was the most of any of the 4 championship games over the weekend.
Yeah, and Wheeling Central running back Cade Coronas.
Oh, jeez.
Set an all-time record, yeah.
I mean, they were the yards after contact, the yak. Like, it was so tough to watch, and the way that game started, I really thought the CBs were gonna.
Yeah,
Clay-Battelle had it 20-7, and that was early in the second quarter.
Yeah.
A lot of time left.
Yeah, a lot of time left, but just the way they were stretching the field vertically, really thought. But the running game can do some things, and oh my gosh!
Even the first play. I mean, Caleb Hall busted the first play for 45 yards, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like this is awesome!" But yeah, it just. I think one of my matchup keys was size versus speed in this, and the size won. I mean, LePeau told Justin and I both, we were standing there together talking to him after the game. They were just big and strong and hard to move. So, Wheeling Central had the size, and even their quarterback's a big kid too.
He was even a big team. Yeah. They definitely looked.
Matt, you mentioned Central's Cade Coronas rushed for 415 yards. It set a West Virginia all-time playoff record. Yeah. He also scored 7 touchdowns to set the Class A championship game record. The all-time record for a state championship game in any class is 8 touchdowns.
Okay.
You want to play a little challenge here?
Yeah.
Who had the 8 touchdowns? Michael?
I know.
It's not J.R. House.
No, you're going to, as soon as I say the name, you're going to be like, oh.
This is touchdown scored. Now,
touchdown scored, okay.
Yeah. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
It's Martinsburg.
Played at WVU.
He played at WVU. He has a little brother that also was very good at football.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Good old.
Not the legend Nate Sowers.
Good old Hudson Clement.
Yeah. Hudson Clement went to WVU, played there with Neil Brown.
Wow, okay.
Transferred to Illinois, right, this past season?
He did. 8 touchdowns in the state championship game.
That's great trivia.
Yeah, that's a day.
8 and I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's a great season.
Yeah,
That's a decent season.
Want to get in real quick to some of the other highlighted performances of the weekend. Nitro receiver Malachi Thompson, who is a WVU signee. Is that correct?
Yes,
Mike?
sir.
He will be at WVU next season. He caught 6 passes for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns for Nitro in that loss in the AAA game. Bluefield quarterback Max Simpson threw for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns in the Class AA game. The significance there is Max Simpson is
just a sophomore.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, one of those kids we were just talking about.
Clay Battelle quarterback, as we mentioned earlier, Corey Cohen threw for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns in the single-A game, and he is just a junior.
Wow. I'm so excited. I'm excited for next year already.
One of the main highlight maybe of the weekend was in the AAA game. Princeton's Brad Mosser rushed for 115 yards, 4 touchdowns. He caught 5 passes for 132 yards and another touchdown. Pretty much kind of cemented his argument for the State's Player of the Year, the Kennedy Award.
Yeah.
That was in the AAA game. And then, of course, we also have what Boston Todd did for Martinsburg. 11 catches, 136 yards for Martinsburg in the Quad A game. We talked about what Maddox Twig did, 316 total yards. So many great, Mike, I want to get your take. So many great individual performances among the great team games over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, and they were all from players that have been talked about all year and that really stepped up. The one thing about Brad Mosser's performance too, he only had 13 total yards at halftime. The score at the game, the half of that,
he had 13 at halftime.
The score was only 7-7 at halftime of that game, and it ended up being 36-35. So the second half of that game was. It made the first half feel irrelevant almost. It was like there was only one half played in that game, really, because the first half was slug it out, defensive battle, stop after stop after stop, interception by Princeton, fumble for Niger. There was just so many defensive plays in the first half, and then second, like I said, Brad Mosser, 13 total yards at halftime.
I didn't realize that. He finished with 247.
Yes, exactly.
He's got 13 at halftime.
Yeah,
Not
both
bad.
teams came out completely different.
Second half, you're getting a complete opposite.
Yeah, it
game.
was something to watch. And honestly, he could have had a couple more touchdowns. He dropped a few in the end zone. Honestly, he could have had an even better game than he did. But he took over for his team, and was the guy that they needed him to be. So
overall, what would you give it? An A plus for the weekend? What would you say?
Oh my gosh! I've heard people. I can't believe this was the first championship I've attended as a media, and it was like this. But can you not say A plus? 3 games that were one score in the last 75 seconds. You cannot script that. You can't write that. And for a movie, that's and then the last game, even though it was 21-point game, 22-point game, 1,000 yards of offense.
Yes.
And the losing team, their quarterback threw for 300. They had play after play after play. They were ahead in the second quarter.
Yeah. Caleb Hall rushed for 103 yards for the season. Basically, Clay Battelle was a couple of first downs away from getting 500 total yards.
100%. It just you could not have asked for more from this weekend. And another thing I was talking to Jim Workman about. He's the director of the Sports Writers Association now. There was so much chatter and all the opinions about the 4 classes and it being watered down and all this. And that's true. That's we all know that argument, but this is what we needed. We needed this kind of breath of fresh air because going into next year now, there's excitement. There's not going to be talk about, all these 4 games were blowouts and all that. Now we're going to remember, oh my God, you guys remember the state title games? Do you remember in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals, when Bridgeport lost? Do you remember when Muhammad was upset by Cameron? You remember Clay Battelle made this incredible... That's this high school football season is what we needed in West Virginia after all of the hubbub and all the hoopla and all that was going on.
The legend getting fired up.
Hey, he's getting me hyped up, man.
Jeez. We needed
what if the legend's the common denominator? When he attends the state championships, we get A plus material, A plus.
I will say this: I'm personally not a big fan of the 4 classes, but basically what you just said makes a lot of sense. I mean, there is going to be a lot of excitement heading in for next year. And, there's probably during the regular season, there's going to be some blowouts. But, those are going to happen no matter how many classes.
No matter how many classes you have.
Once you get into the playoffs next year, I think, once you get into that second round, quarterfinals, and semi, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting year for next year.
Yeah, one of the semis was 5 versus 9 this year in AAA. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Chapmanville Nitro. That was a great matchup. So
Absolutely.
Really good times for high school football in West Virginia.
Unfortunately, Matt, that closes out what was an exciting year of high school football.
You guys remember week 1? We said, how long are we going to go before
week
they
one,
cancel?
We were talking Cameron Clay Battelle.
Clay Battelle looks decent this season. They have a chance to do something special.
They turn into state championship.
See what they do with this loss if it's close? And look what happened.
I'm getting a little emotional, guys. I hate goodbyes, but...
Just see you later.
This is a see you later. And, man, just some players, some West Virginia talent just made household names for themselves. They're going to kick butt this offseason. Sheesh, you go to that Morgantown High facility. It looks like a college facility. I mean, they run these off-season program like college teams, but, man, just so good for West Virginia football.
One time to just sort of kind of put a bow on this the whole high school season, if we could. The Class A single A team has already been released.
Yeah, it was
Clay
released.
Battelle had 7. What was
7 total. 6 players on the first team for Clay Battelle.
6 players on the first team.
So we got quarterback Corey Cohen as the first team quarterback. Caleb Hall, first team running back. 2 first-team offensive linemen in Zach Gump and Cooper Statler. This is actually...
Man, those are some big boys
and
now.
You know what was funny? We in the all-state meeting, people were kind of like, are we sure we want to put 2 Clay Battelle offensive linemen? And then first play of the game, Caleb Hall busts the 45 yards. I'm like, there you go, guys. Look at that offensive line. But I digress. But anyway, Cooper Statler's second straight first-team selection. He was a first-team defensive player last year, offensive lineman this year. Keep going with that. Braden Ponceroff, first-team defensive utility. He's actually the first-team captain that was named.
Was he first-team or second-team captain?
First-team captain.
Oh, he was first-team captain.
Yes,
okay.
And then I'm missing one. Cooper Payton, first-team linebacker. He led the CBs in tackles this year. He had what blew my mind about Cooper Payton's stats, and he had probably 3 or 4 of something in every single category. Tackles for loss, pass deflections, interceptions, forced fumbles, fumbles recovered. He had at least 4 of everything in the stat sheet, and it blew my mind. So we put him first-team linebacker, second-team defensive back, Cody Clovis, and then I think Colt Sandy had an honorable mention. So 7 on the first and second team, 8 overall with the honorable mention. Just well-deserved, 100%. If we gave a Coach of the Year award from the Sports Writers Association, my vote goes to Aaron Lepeau. That's just how it is, and
that's
how it's going to stay. So,
Double A and Triple A All-State teams come out during the week, and then the Quad A team comes out Friday.
Correct.
I know we can't really go into releasing names at this point because it's still unofficial. But, Michael, can we say that Morgantown High, University High, at the very least, will be well represented on the All-State?
Rightfully so.
Rightfully
well
so,
represented as well. Yeah, and then we'll have the position awards coming out, all the Moss Award, the Kennedy Award at the end, and all that good stuff. So just the next few weeks, I think all the way until up to New Year's Eve, we're going to have a bunch of football awards coming out over the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that. We'll like Justin said, Double A will be this week after we record this on Wednesday. By the time you're hearing this, Triple A should be out on Thursday, and then Friday will be Quad A, and then we'll get into all the other stuff going through the weeks forward with the Sports Writers Association. So.
All right. Michael, let's wrap it up. The season as a whole. I mean, have you had a chance to reflect on it yet?
Man.
Surprises, thoughts, memories. Like 20 years from now, when someone asks you about the 2025 season, what's going to come to mind?
Man, Mon County is going to come to mind.
Mon County, what a great answer!
And it doesn't matter where I'm at. I could probably be in China and doing something 20 years from now, and someone's going to say, "Where were you 20 years ago?" I was like, "I was watching some football in Mon County."
Mon County, homie.
So, but yeah, man, I just really proud to be able to just have a little part in this stuff and be able to put these kids' names out there. And one thing I tell people about my job and the places that we cover is we get to cover, Morgantown High School, the biggest school in the state, the facilities and all this stuff. But then you drive 20 minutes west in Mon County and there's this little community out there called Blacksville. And there's some people out there that can also put the helmets on and play some dang football.
And they love their football in Blacksville.
They love their football.
Man.
They love their community just as much as the biggest schools do. And that's the coolest thing about my job is that we get to tell those stories of the Giants, but then we get to go out there for the Davids and tell what they're doing as well and how they're throwing the stones and knocking the Giants down. So
yes,
Matt, I would imagine your best memory of the 2025 season was the conversations with the ladies at Kroger's.
How could I forget? That might be one of the best times of my life.
Man.
But if I could be honest with you, coming back from California, it's been so nostalgic and wonderful to get reconnected with the community I love. And shout out to Morgantown. Legends answer was amazing. I don't know if I can follow that up, but like
I don't know if they would ask him about it in China, though. But,
no, probably
not. You never know. You never know. Would they know Mon County? I don't know. But
gotta let them know.
What a great season! The potential we had, and to get back into West Virginia football, this has just been an honor. This has been an honor. This has been awesome. And shout out to the Mohegans, baby! Ha ha! Number 6. Sorry.
One more time, Matt, if you will. Who is our sponsor?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Justin. The Extra Medium Sports Podcast is brought to you by the Hotel Morgan. Host your guests in an elegant setting utilizing our refined meeting spaces, including 2 dedicated boardrooms and state-of-the-art conference technology. Elevate your event with the delicious catering and craft cocktail service delivered by our on-site cafe and bar, Anvil and Axe.
We have semi-breaking news. As you may have heard by now, the window for the college football transfer portal officially opens on January 2nd. It will open until January 16th. WVU is expected to have 2 key running backs enter the portal. We bring in now Spencer Ripchick of the Dominion Post to discuss it. Spencer, Jaheim White, Dior Hubbard, both expected to transfer. What's your initial reactions?
Well, I think this is an outcome of Rich Rod said last week that over the next couple of weeks he's going to have exit meetings with every single player, and the position coaches are going to meet with every single player, and they'll be completely transparent and let them know where they stand in the program, if they're going to play or maybe they should look elsewhere. So maybe that could be effective. That I don't know if they told Jaheim that we don't want you to be part of the plan, because it didn't sound like that heading into the season, and Jaheim was very vocal that he wanted to come back, and he really liked Rich Rod because he ran the ball a lot. But, I mean, his season got cut short, and West Virginia has a lot of good running backs coming in, so maybe he told Jaheim to leave, or Jaheim wanted to go look elsewhere. I know his head coach now, or his former head coach, Neil Brown, just got the North Texas job, so maybe he goes there. And, Dior Hubbard also entered the portal. He's also another Neil Brown guy, so maybe he'll head there too. But, yeah, it was kind of a shocking thing yesterday. I mean, I was in my car about to leave, and then I look at my phone and find out that Jaheim White plans to enter the portal. So, I mean, obviously that's big breaking news since he was going to be the lead back next year.
Yeah, I would be shocked if one of those 2 guys don't end up at North Texas. Obviously now, I mean, so the news is technically the running back depth chart is basically whittled down to, Clay Ash?
Yeah, Clay Ash,
Sincere
Bowers. Yeah, I mean, Sincere hasn't entered the portal or anything like that. I thought Dior Hubbard was more of Rich Rod's favorable running back. I mean, he used him a lot more, so I think that Sincere Bowers has been the one to enter the portal. But, yeah, they have Sincere Bowers, they have Clay Ash, Tyler Jacklish, who's somebody they added, Andre Devine, they have Noel Devine's son, or other way around. I don't know which one is which, but he's on the roster, and they have a couple of young running backs coming in.
I was going to say they signed 3.
They have a lot. They have obviously it's headlined by Amari Latimer, who's the 4-star from Georgia. He's really good. He flipped from Wisconsin, and then they have Jesus in cleats, the man himself.
I love that name.
Sir Paul Cheeks.
That's
so
awesome.
He's coming in too. So, I mean, they got some young guys, but I don't know how much of an impact they're going to make. I think it's going to be Rich Rod adding a big running back in the portal to add some experience to the room.
Which who might be you were kind of looking at earlier?
Well, I was looking at Jacksonville State's roster, and Cam Cook, Jacksonville State's current running back, leads the country in rushing at the FBS level, but he played at TCU last year, so he wasn't one of Rich Rod's guys, so I don't think he'll come, but they'll definitely look for some running back that's under the portal. There'll be a lot more in the coming days and weeks as the portal nears opening, because, I mean, these kids can't really be contacted until the portal officially opens and they can officially enter their names, but agents can send out feelers and see what all the situation is.
Yeah, I mean,
everything is behind the scenes nowadays and hush-hush, but yeah. I mean, it's better to enter now than later because, I mean, a coach could look. It doesn't have to contact you, but they can look at your film and tape and already have, maybe this will be a guy we want to go out and get.
Matt, I'm interested. You obviously played in the non-transfer portal era.
Yeah.
Do you ever stop and think what it would have been like as a college player in the transfer portal era?
I do. I really do. Every now and then, I think I might have been a little bit too early. I think I would have been very good with the NIL, but in the transfer portal, I don't know.
Would you have transferred? Have thought about it?
Yeah, I would have. I would have transferred. I actually tried to transfer, and I was going to transfer to Marshall, but Coach denied that. And rightfully, this is after like Coach had granted Scotty McBrien.
Okay.
Scotty McBrien, and I don't know if you remember, Maryland torched us with Scotty McBrien. So he said, you can go to Little Rock, you can't go to Marshall. So I was like, well, I'll stay. And then I left a little while longer, but then came back on. I
didn't know that you were going to transfer to Marshall.
Yeah, I was going to transfer to Marshall. But again, it was a different game. You have to sit out a year.
Well, you had to get approval.
You have to get approval. Then talking to the Marshall staff is not easy. I'm like, well, hey, if I come down here, and it's very, very difficult, but it's a completely different game.
You have to get no one's approval.
This is just foreign. It's just like the rules is there are no rules. So I think it would be, as an athlete, as a competitor, if you're not playing and you think you still have it in the tank, you still think you have it upstairs, and you have what it takes to compete, how could you not want to explore different options, potentially getting on the field? And it's no shot at West Virginia. It's just, hey, I want to get on the field. There might be 3 guys ahead of me. I mean, I wasn't going to play ahead of Dan Moses. Not in this lifetime. So it's just like, it's so much easier to explore now. It almost seems surreal. It's very hard for me to wrap my head around.
Sure, but having gone through that experience, are you happy now that players have the option, a more viable option to transfer?
I am happy, but I do think stricter rules are going to need to be implemented in the future. Same with the NIL potential with a cap. But until that happens, I say power to the players. I'm very happy for them, and happy
even if it continues to get.
Even if it continues, power to the players. I because you got to think, we played for prestige and a scholarship.
Right.
That's what we played for. We didn't get NIL or
cost of attendance.
Right. You don't. We didn't get $10,000 to go on an official visit. It's very hard for me to even wrap my head around. But great for these kids, because when they do graduate, hopefully they can set up their family and do good things with this.
Spencer, the bigger news in college football is the recent release of the final college football playoff bracket. Obviously, the big news is Notre Dame got left out. Miami got voted over them. Your thoughts on the bracket? How do you think, does it shake out the way that you thought it would?
Well, I think that's it's not what I predicted them to do, the committee, but I think it's what was deserving and what should have happened. I think Alabama should have dropped from 9 to 10 because of their performance in the conference championship game, but I think Miami should have been in over Notre Dame because of the head-to-head and how similar their resumes were. And, I mean, even like I was saying the other day, I mean, even BYU had a better case to be in the college football playoff than Notre Dame. I mean, if you want to put the 12 best teams in, the 12 teams who have the best shot to win a championship, and then Notre Dame definitely should be in there. I think they could have won the national championship if they had the chance, but it's the 12 most deserving teams and what you've done over the whole course of the season. I don't really like the eye test. I like more of what have you done on the field. I mean, that's what really matters at the end of the day. But yeah, like BYU, I mean, they had 2 losses, both to Texas Tech. I mean, they did get blown out in both of those, but those are their 2 losses. And I mean, Notre Dame's loss was to Texas A&M, who's like 7 or 6 or something like that. Or I think they're 7. And then they lost to Miami, who was obviously behind them at the time. And then BYU's only loss was against Texas Tech. And then their best win was Utah, who's 15, and Notre Dame's best win was USC at 16.
Right,
yeah, so I mean, BYU had them beat there. But yeah, I think Miami should have been in over Notre Dame. And I think the thing that you need to take away from this is I think they need to put a threshold on the group of 5 teams entering the playoff. I think they can't be ranked any lower than 15
Yes.
or higher, however you want to look at it. But they can't be like 20, 30 or up there. If they're not like above 15 or anything like that, then they should put in the 2 more at-large teams.
See, I don't know if I agree with that though, because if you went because of the whole Duke situation.
Okay.
So like if you want to change the rules, then you're going to change the rules a certain way to where Duke might have gotten into the championship discussion.
Yeah, well, the ways that I'm changing the rules is if Duke, it's not the highest conference championship. You have to be a certain ranked.
Okay.
It would be if the conference champion is higher than 15, say they're like 25 or 22 or whatever JMU was. I think they were 24. Then they even if they won the conference championship, they're not eligible because the only way to be eligible is to be highest ranked conference champion, but you have to be 15-1 or whatever it is. I think that makes the games more competitive. And I mean, realistically, you want to figure out who's the best team in the country. That's the goal, or with the like 12 most deserving teams. And I think Duke obviously deserved to be, or not Duke, JMU. They're the Dukes. That's why I keep on getting confused. But JMU was deserving. I mean, they won their conference, and they had a good record. They only lost 1 game, but I mean, they're going to get smacked by Oregon in the first round.
So James Madison is going to go to Oregon, and Tulane is going to go to Ole Miss. Both of them are probably going to get beat, handedly. I like the fact that JMU and Tulane are both in there, though. I just from a March Madness kind of NCAA basketball tournament kind of upbringing. I like the fact that it's not like you're giving half the field to the little guys, but give them something, right? I like that the little guys are in there.
I understand and I like that, but and I know it's not the rules, but and like I told you, I thought JMU and Tulane were at large, but they indeed were not.
Right.
They were not. But do they deserve to be in more than Notre Dame? And who knows? Maybe that's a shot from the committee saying, Notre Dame, you need to join a conference, buddy. But
that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. We'll save that for a different episode. But, I like what you say about the NCAA field. And aren't they thinking about expanding the college football playoff? We're not even going to – that's another story.
Well, I mean, there's talk of going to 16. But then when you go to 16, number 17 is going to be mad.
No.
You go to 20,
you're right.
21 is
going to be like, we deserve – got you.
I mean, West Virginia – men's basketball got mad, and there 68 teams in the Madness tournament. So I mean, they were the 69th or 60th.
And
or 70th team.
I was one of those angry people, by the way. Just putting that out there.
So Spence, you thought the committee was going to go with Notre Dame, though?
Yeah. I thought. What I thought was going to happen was Alabama was going to slide down to 10. And then Notre Dame would move up to 9, and then you wouldn't have Miami would be at 11, and then the committee said when you look at them together that. Since Miami and Alabama would have been right next to each other, they wouldn't be directly comparable. So the head-to-head wouldn't have mattered, and Notre Dame would have been safely in there. But since Alabama didn't move down and they stayed at 9, and then Miami moved up to 11, you have 10 was Notre Dame and 11 was Miami. And if you release the rankings where 10 is Notre Dame and 11 is Miami, it just looks terrible because 11 beat 10 in the season. And, I mean, that's head-to-head is like the basic factor of how to compare the two teams.
So you thought Notre Dame was going to get in and Alabama was going to get in, so Miami would have been the team out?
Miami would have been the team out, which I think would have been a riot. I don't think it would have been as much of a riot because Alabama would have been in between Notre Dame and Miami, so it would have had a buffer. I mean, Friday night I was looking at the schedule and I was looking at the rankings, and I was like, I don't see a way that Notre Dame really gets in here. I mean, if they don't punish the conference champions, which they didn't do, I mean, Alabama or Miami's going to be right there next to Notre Dame, and if you compare them head to head, I mean, Miami's beating Notre Dame.
How about Notre Dame's AD? Right?
Yeah.
So the day of the bracket gets announced, he starts basically blasting the selection committee.
Yeah.
The day after, he starts blasting the ACC. Someone's got to put a muffler on this guy, right? I mean,
he's obviously upset that his team can't compete for a national championship. They're going to lose out a ton of money, and now they declined their bowl invitation, so they don't get any money from that.
They get all that NBC money.
Yeah,
I mean, they still make a lot
different.
of money, but I mean, they would have been a lot more if they. made the college football playoff, and all that money goes straight to them. Unlike the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the SEC, you got to split all that money, even if you're not even in the playoff. Like Mississippi State gets money if Alabama or somebody wins the national championship.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, though, Spence. Do you feel sorry for Notre Dame?
I mean, no. I mean, you have two opportunities. You could have easily won those games at the beginning of the season. I mean, you lost to Miami and you lost to Texas A&M. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure that Texas A&M game was on your home turf. So,
right.
I mean, you can't say that both those games are away. I know the Miami game was definitely away, but I'm pretty sure the second game was definitely at home.
Matt, do you feel sorry for Notre Dame?
I don't feel sorry for Notre Dame, and it's growing up in Morgantown, West Virginia, being a diehard West Virginia fan my whole life. I don't feel sorry for Notre Dame ever. Let's talk about the Major Harris thing, but we'll worry about that. Hey, I want to ask both you guys something, and I keep hearing everyone say this about the committee, that the conference championship game can't hurt you, right? It can't hurt you. But Alabama goes in, loses 28-7. Even Mark Ingram, and a former Alabama player, is saying, hey, I don't think we get in. I mean, we got rolled. Do you agree with that? Like, the conference championship can't hurt you, and it kind of seems like it's a gray area where it kind of can, but it can't.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it is a gray area. I know last year JMU didn't get punished to the point where SMU didn't get punished to the point where they were knocked out for losing the conference championship, but they were dropped in the rankings. And then you look at BYU, they were dropped one spot. I think you just look at Alabama. I think after all the games are done, the committee sits down and looks at the whole entire season. And you look at Alabama's season, and they beat Vanderbilt, they beat Georgia, which is probably the best win in the entire country right now.
Well said.
And they beat a bunch of other teams, Oklahoma. Or no, they didn't beat Oklahoma, but they beat Vanderbilt, they beat Georgia. And they had Missouri. They had a great stretch of games. I think they beat Tennessee too. They have like 4 games in a row where they all won. And then, I mean, they have a terrible loss at the start of the season too. They lost to FSU. But I mean, Alabama was just more deserving. Then they go into the conference championship and they get smacked by Georgia. But I mean, it's really hard to beat a team twice. And
especially Georgia.
And that was technically another home game because the game was in Atlanta. But how I look at it is the conference championship game should be extra credit. So you can't if you get 100 on your test and then you try to do the extra credit, you shouldn't have a 90 on your test. That's how I look at it.
What's your thoughts, Justin?
Well, I think, and Spencer said it, if Alabama hadn't defeated Georgia during the regular season, so say that game was maybe against someone else, Mississippi State or Mississippi or whatever. Say they hadn't played Georgia during the regular season, and then they showed up in the SEC title game and played like they did against Georgia, I think they would have been punished. The fact that they had beaten Georgia during the regular season, I think, kind of canceled out how badly they played in the SEC title game against Georgia. Otherwise, I think they would have been punished because BYU was punished.
Yes.
BYU was punished for losing the Big 12 title game.
But they also lost in the regular season to Texas Tech.
Well, that was the only team they lost to. They had 2 losses. Yeah. Alabama's got 3. I mean, you could make an argument for BYU. Yeah. Now, it wouldn't be a very strong argument. But the fact that Alabama wasn't punished at all and you had other teams lose conference championship games who were punished, I think kind of tells a bad story.
Yes.
But the fact that Alabama had beaten Georgia during the regular season kind of gives you the reason why they weren't punished.
So, sorry.
No, you're good. Here's my other thing. When people say that Alabama wasn't really punished, I mean, they weren't punished in the rankings, but now they have to. If they won that game, they would have had a first-round bye like Georgia did. But now they lost that game, which is an extra game that they had to play. So that's a 13th game they had to play. Now they had 2 Norman, Oklahoma.
They got the gulag.
Then they got to play. They got to play Oklahoma in one game in the first round. Then they got to go and play another game. That's 2 extra games. And then if they win that game, that's a 3rd game and a 4th game. So at the end of the season, you're playing. What did I say? Like 17 games more than extra people. So
that's a great point.
They technically do to get punished in some way if you want to look at it like that.
I don't feel sorry for Alabama though either.
They'll be okay.
I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. No tiny violin for Alabama here.
Spence, the trendy pick is Oregon. Are you with the trendy pick, or who do you like in the playoff bracket?
Well, I think Oregon has the easiest path. They play JMU, or the easiest path is a team that doesn't have a bye. I mean, they play JMU in the first round. I think they're 23 or 21 point favorites, and then they head to
Texas Tech.
They don't head to Texas Tech. They play Texas Tech, in one of the bowl games. I forget which one it is, but yeah, they play Texas Tech, who's the 4 seed. So I mean, it's better than Indiana. They play.
Oh, Indiana got the number 1 seed, and they got
What
maybe
the
the
heck?
toughest draw.
Yeah, they have a tough bracket too. I think last year the 5th seed was the best seed too. I know Penn State last year they had a really easy path. I mean, but that was because the conference championships all got the buys. They didn't have the top 4 teams.
Was Penn State the 5 last year?
I'm pretty sure they were the 5. And
so they got matched up with Arizona State. Right?
No, no, maybe they weren't the 5. Maybe they were the 6. But they played SMU at home.
Yeah.
And there was a Texas team coming all the way up north to a snowy state college. Then they played Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, they got the Boise State.
And they got Boise State. So, they pretty much had an automatic pass to the semifinal game, and then they lost to Notre Dame. But
so you like Oregon? Who do you like?
This year, I don't know. I still think Ohio State has a really good shot. I mean, Ohio State would have been tied in that game if that kicker didn't miss that 20-yard field goal. I mean, Ohio State kickers, I don't know what they're doing. They've always been bad for some reason. They can't pay to get a kicker. It's like the Giants kind of. They can't have a kicker either. But yeah, I think Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State still has one of the best defenses in the country. I think Texas Tech has a really good shot too. I just don't know if Texas Tech's offense is good enough to hang with some of these big teams. It'll be interesting to see. Georgia's another. I think all those number 4, the teams with the bye, I think they all have a good shot. But I mean, obviously, that's the easiest teams to pick because they're the top 4 teams. But I think any of those teams can win it. Outside of that, I don't really know what other team can win. Maybe Oregon, and that would probably be it. I don't think Ole Miss, with their head coach being gone, is going to win. I don't know. Alabama hasn't looked good in the past couple weeks, and Oklahoma, they also haven't looked too great. So I don't really know. And Miami, I don't know if they also haven't looked great. So all those teams that don't have buys haven't looked good recently.
We got a lot of teams not looking great in the playoffs, man. Hey, Spence, I mean, we kind of wrapped up the high school football season, kind of wrapping up the WVU football season as well. This was your first year on the beat with WVU, getting to work with Coach Rodriguez and his staff, all the new players he brought in. You experienced the victory against Pitt, an upset win against Houston, some tough losses as well. Your first year in the Big 12, what will be your memories of the 2025 season at WVU?
Well, I've been here for 1 year, and I've seen Morgantown High win 1 championship, so I'm 1-0 right now.
Hey, we got to keep Spence here as long as possible.
And I got a lot of...
we got to get Spence some NIL.
Yeah, we got to get him NIL.
Yeah.
Let's give him a contract extension.
A lot of good high school football happened while I was here. Apparently, it hasn't been, in recent years, it hasn't been too great. But, the West Virginia season, I mean, it was very up and down. I mean, it started off with a bang. I mean, when they lost to Ohio, everyone thought the season was over with already, and then they had some false sense of hope, beating Pitt in the backyard brawl, and then lost 5 straight games, looked terrible, and they lost to UCF. And then they came out of nowhere and beat Houston. I think it just showed that this Rich Rodriguez team is very unpredictable. And, I mean, they're going to be competitive, and they can be competitive with any team they play unless they obviously pay a ton for their players like Texas Tech, where they weren't competitive at all. But, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. I think this recruiting class brought a lot of life back into the fans, and look forward to next year and see what it brings with Rich Rodriguez with a full year under his belt.
Players will be coming and going, injuries, coming back from injuries, NIL, lots to keep up with in the offseason there, man.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be an exciting time, but what Spence said about the Mountaineers this year, remember, was it 80-something new guys, 85 new guys?
At the beginning of the year, yeah.
Dare we say the year of the injury?
Yeah, 80. They had 80 new guys, and they had a ton of injuries. I mean, they're on their sixth-string quarterback, their fourth-string running back, and I mean, now you can see it directly reflects the recruiting class that they brought in. I mean, now they have 49 players coming in because all those seniors are graduating. I mean, I was talking to Michael yesterday, and I'm like, look at the top two teams who have the most high school recruits. It's West Virginia, who brought in 80 transfers, and it's North Carolina, who had 70 transfers. Yeah. So it directly affects one on the other.
And Coach Rotsburg, this may be a hot take, but I think with the variables presented, I think Coach Rod even exceeded expectations. That maybe that's just for me, my expectations, because imagine being at Home Goods. You have 80 new employees at Home Goods. I couldn't even imagine that with the injuries. Great recruiting class. I'm excited for what is going to be the future of the Mountaineer program.
Spence, hey, appreciate the time, and we will see you down the road. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Appreciate you, Spence.
We're getting ready to have Rivals.com reporter Keenan Cummins coming on to the show here very quickly. WVU was signed at their signing day. National Signing Day was, of course, last week. WVU signed offensive lineman Kevin Brown out of Harrisburg, PA. Huge get for the Mountaineers. He was one of the top-ranked recruits out of the state of Pennsylvania, originally a Penn State commitment. The story I want to get into there, Matt, his father is Tim Brown.
Tim Brown, great player.
Who was an offensive lineman at WVU when Matt was also at WVU.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, give us the story.
Wait, do I have to tell it?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So
I've been dying to hear the story.
So this is during what we call tour of duty, which is off season, and basically this is a mental test of conditioning. And when you're 6'5", 320 pounds, a mental test of conditioning at 4 a.m. in the morning is not the funnest time or like exactly what you want to be doing.
This was 4 a.m.
Oh, this is 4 a.m.
Oh.
This is 4 a.m. And it's cold, brother. My brother, it's cold. So
they don't turn the heat on? No. Okay.
I mean, the only heat you get is from when they drive those green gators around and you can just smell. I mean, that's about your heat right there. So in the tour of duty, when the whistle blows, you go to the next station. Boy, if you don't go to that next station, you get what's called a check mark, and that means you have to run at the end. So we're doing some jump ropes. Your boy could jump rope a little bit back in the day. Quick feet. Not Muhammad Ali style, but...
You weren't double dutching, were you?
I was not double dutching. There was no double dutching. No double dutching. Not that good. But the whistle blew, and the innocent young princess I am with these long blonde locks, I just tossed gently my jump rope, which happened to hit Tim Brown in...
a sensitive area.
A sensitive area. Yeah, we'll say that. And he wasn't happy with that, rightfully so, and he said, apologize. I said, I ain't apologizing. It was an accident, man. And I started to get a little bit, he kept saying apologize, and I started to get a little bit like up in his face. Now, this is all I really remember is being in a chokehold and waking up.
Now, Tim Brown is a state championship wrestler back in the day, right?
I didn't know this.
Okay, yeah.
Not to mention the guy can move like a ballerina. He can dunk a basketball. I found out the hard way. And, I mean, my gosh.
So this is in the middle of the drill,
This is in the
right?
middle of the drill.
Yeah.
And they don't stop. They don't...
You got to go to the next station.
You were going to the next station. And so I get up in his face, and I'm like, I took a swing.
Oh.
I took a swing, and I missed. And I used to be back in the old days a little bit of a fighter.
Right.
I missed, and I just ended up. I just remember waking up. It's like I got to get to the next station.
He put you in a chokehold, right? I mean,
he put me in a chokehold, used all my strength against me, turned me into a pretzel. That's from a third party telling me. I must have been out cold at this point. And then I get Coach. The best part is I kind of come to. I'm like, oh, and Coach Trickett's like, idiot. So I didn't know he wasn't the guy to mess with, but he's not. And
what did Coach Trickett say?
He had another name for me other than idiot. But with our new sponsor, shout out to Hotel Morgan. I don't want to say it exactly, but with that Pat McAfee commitment video with Kevin Brown, he
burned the couch.
He burned the couch,
yeah.
But Tim Brown was talking like, this kid, I trained him to be an offensive lineman, basically, in Coach Rod's offense. The question is, who would choke me out faster? Tim or Kevin?
Dad or son.
Dad or son. I think son. I would never find out. I'm not messing with any
here's
of
the question I have now. So,
okay.
So did you, I mean, while this ruckus was going on, did you and Tim both get a check mark?
I don't know.
You didn't go to the next step. Did you get a check mark?
Let me tell you something about the check marks. We have what we call phantom check marks. I don't know why. Tim had 0. I had like 70.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's watch Matt struggle on these gassers here.
You had to run, huh?
I had like 70. Well, maybe that's the difference between being an All-American. Now, Tim went later on to play for the Steelers for a bit. I mean, this guy is a bad mamma jamma.
It's a fantastic story. Okay, now. And with that, it now leads into our conversation with Keenan Cummins, who is the recruiting analyst for Rivals.com. Time to get a little recruiting news out here.
Wait, a little recruiting segment on the
Yeah,
show?
a
Let's
little
go,
recruiting
man.
segment. Trying something a little different.
I love it.
Keenan, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It's been a long time coming, but I will make it clear I do not offer any scholarships.
Keenan, I've always heard that National Signing Day is sort of like the Super Bowl for the recruiting services and the recruiting reporters. You went through it last week. You've gone through it a number of times now. How hectic is the day for you?
It is hectic, but we've gotten to the point now with the process. There used to just be the one signing day in February. It was kind of like the golden goose everybody was looking forward to, and you had the crazy January, the crazy December. But now they've pushed it up so much that you kind of exit the season, go right into signing day, and a lot of the work, now I know West Virginia, and we'll get into it, had a monster signing day, but a lot of the work in your class is kind of done before then. If it's not, you're in trouble. You kind of put a lot of the class together. But in terms of excitement, in terms of thrill, even a guy like me that's been doing this for years, it's still a very, very exciting day, even perched at the beginning of December.
How early do you get up that day?
About 5:36.
Oh.
Get ready, get prepared, and just you got to get stuff ready. You get stuff prepared because guys are going to commit throughout the day.
Oh yeah,
that's multiple stories for every guy, and you got to kind of talk to people, get in position. So there's a lot of work that goes into it.
So the recruiting class is ranked 25, I believe, for WV football, somewhere around that area.
20th.
Okay.
Sheesh.
Kevin Brown obviously headlines it. Then the other one, Matt Sieg from Fort Cherry, Pennsylvania. Tell me a little bit about him. He was kind of a surprise flip on signing day, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a guy that West Virginia's been involved with for a long time. But, going down the stretch, it looked like the Mountaineers were not going to be in the picture. Initially, he was supposed to visit the weekend of that Texas Tech game. He canceled that trip, kind of went into his announcement with Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Indiana. Those were the schools everybody was linking him to. And then West Virginia comes in and delivers a last-minute haymaker and is able to sign him. Really, really athletic kid, can play a lot of positions. On defense, probably more of a safety. Offense, they're going to find ways to get the ball in his hands. He's a prolific record-setting quarterback up there at Fort Cherry. So that's one to be really excited about, especially kind of the way that trended. Our on-3 national guys kind of had that tipped off, going into Tuesday night, that was a possibility. West Virginia was trending, and then to see it happen, that's just one of several big announcements for West Virginia, but a major one, especially where he's at, just 45 minutes up the road. And Pitt, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Notre Dame, when you're beating schools that you typically recruit against, it's always a good thing.
The Keenan gets the trending news, man. This is, the way the Matt Sieg thing, that kind of broke late. I'm interested, Kevin Brown, we were talking about him earlier. He's obviously, he's the big guy. He's the big name on the recruiting list. What are your thoughts with his potential at the next level on the offensive line for WVU?
Well, I'll tell you a little story. When I went to a summer camp, he was there, and I didn't know he was there going into it. A lot of time you have an idea of guys that are there. And I was walking past, and I saw he was going through drills, and I thought he was a college offensive lineman. I was what? Who is this guy?
Right.
It took me about 5 seconds to realize who he was, but he is as physically put together as a lineman. It's different comparing him to a guy like Zach Frazier, because Zach Frazier's kind of a unicorn in that sense.
Yeah.
You knew that he was going to come in and play. But Kevin Brown is about as physically put together as a guy that could play tackle that I've seen, West Virginia add since I've been doing this. I would be highly surprised if he doesn't come in and play immediately in some degree. Now, that's saying a lot. I'm not that type of guy.
Sure.
If you've followed my work over the years, you know that I'm never projecting offensive linemen for early roles. It's just so hard. Zach Frazier's one I did. That worked out. I think Brown is going to be another.
Keenan, is this, obviously, you've been covering recruiting classes for so many. Is this Rich Rod's best recruiting class ever at WVU?
This is West Virginia's best recruiting
Wow.
class. Wow. I've been following it.
I love it.
Highest rated. It's actually tied with the 2013 class, But if you take kind of into perspective what was occurring then, you can only take so many kids now.
Sure.
Now with that opened up. And I do want to make this clear for a lot of people that are confused. I know a lot of people think, hey, they signed 49 kids. That's why they're ranked highest. No, on Rivals on 3, we only take the top 19 players to go into that formula. So it doesn't dilute it if you add more players. So this is a quality group. And, Rich hit a home run. They talked about building a foundational class when it comes to high school, junior college players, and then backfilling that with some impact transfers. Well, step one, check that off with a big bucks.
There you go.
There's some guys on this list, especially from the junior college level, that in some years might have been West Virginia's best player in the class. And they're kind of being,
now he's that other guy, right?
Yeah, you're kind of being overshot a little bit by some of these high school kids they signed. And I think it's a testament to the work they did and the way they were able to close. That they landed guy after guy over the last week and a half to kind of put themselves in this position. And then some monster closes on signing day, obviously with Sig and Latimer and Keelan Hutchins and KJ Henson and Jalen Thomas and, go down the list.
Let's talk basketball real quick, Keenan, because obviously, a few weeks ago, WVU men's basketball coach Ross Hodge got a commitment, and I believe he's signed now, right? Miles Sadler?
Yes.
He's a 4-star out of Arizona. How big of a get? He's a point guard, basically. What kind of kid will he be coming into WVU next year?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that can play right away. I think they're going to depend on him to do that. There's always an adjustment, and you're seeing it right now with, some of the freshmen on the roster. But this is a guy that was, top 20, top 25 nationally. Gets it done on both ends of the floor, which is obviously going to excite Ross Hodge. Really aggressive on the ball defender. A lot of people don't talk about his defense, but I was talking to his coach, and, he's a pest. Yeah, he's all over guys and will not let them have anything easy, which I think is going to make him a good fit. Offensively, he can score from all three levels, can get to his spots and distribute the ball. I still think his best basketball is probably ahead of him, as he continues to develop, which really you can say for most, kids. If you're not getting any better, you're getting worse. So I think that there's a lot of potential, and not just with him, with the other guys in this class. You look at what Ross Hodge did. He signed 3 really, really highly rated high school kids in a short period of time. And I think that's a testament really to what he could possibly do moving forward with more time to kind of recruit and develop those relationships.
Keenan, what was the connection with, Sadler's from out in Arizona, right? So what was there a connection there with Coach Hodge? Obviously you don't think much of Morgantown to Arizona, much of a connection there.
Yusuf Ali actually had a connection with him.
Okay.
He coached Sadler when he was younger. I think he was 14, something like that. He coached him. There was a connection there with that. Things built there. And same thing with the center they signed too, Diem, the same
right.
thing. They had a connection there as well.
So, Matt, this sounds like, things maybe didn't quite pan out the way you want, but the foundation, the future.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful news. It's like, I don't know, the uncertainty with the basketball program and just not the best football season we could hope for, but to have great recruiting classes, I think is a great tell sign for the future.
Keenan, can we put you down as a friend of the show? This is the big important question.
Be a friend of the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
We'll
go.
pick a buddy up, go get a beer.
There you go.
I love it, man. We need all the friends we can get. Isn't that right, Justin?
Absolutely.
I do think that, obviously recruiting classes, rankings and stuff, they need to be taken seriously, but it really depends on development.
Yes.
And the thing that I am most encouraged about, especially on the football side, this isn't Rich's first rodeo. You've seen this before. He knows how to develop players, and you give him more talented players to develop, there's potential there for things to get pretty exciting in the future. It's going to take some time. High school kids are, going to take time to develop, even the best ones. But building a foundation of these type of kids, these are high-level kids. We didn't even talk about Amari Latimer, who is one of the highest kids, that they signed, a running back that Wisconsin would have been the highest running back Wisconsin had ever signed. And West Virginia pulled him away from a long list of schools. I'm talking about Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Wisconsin, Miami, Tennessee. All those schools were involved late. To get kids like that and then develop them, there's a lot of reason to be excited for the future.
I was going to say, Keaton, you're going to get a lot of people excited talking like this now, man. This is this sounds like kind of like fresh ground, right, that WU is breaking.
It's definitely the best class in a while. I mean, on paper. Again, a paper is the thing we need to remember here. But if you watch these guys' tapes, I think the biggest testament to a recruiting class always is who's involved. And a lot of these kids, even guys that West Virginia was able to have committed and signed, kind of early in the process, had big offers coming in late. Yeah. Schools trying to flip them. And when Power 4 schools are trying to flip your commitments, especially late, that's a good sign that you have some talented players. So we'll see how it all develops. They're going to have to step up and play probably earlier than they expected at some positions, but that's why the coaches are paid. That's what Rich says all the time. That's our job to get them ready. Absolutely.
Keenan, hey, man, appreciate the time. Thank you so much for the knowledge.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, appreciate it, guys.
Have a good one. That is all the time we have for today. We thank you for listening in. We really, really do thank you for listening in. We want to thank Rivals.com recruiting reporter Keenan Cummins for joining us just a second ago. We also want to thank Spencer Ripchick and Michael Griffith of the Dominion Post for joining us earlier in the show. Matt, why don't you take us home?
Hey, absolutely. Thanks for joining us today on the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, which is brought to you by the Hotel Morgan. Select a wedding venue where you can host your perfect ceremony and grand reception in one of our 2 magnificent ballrooms. From the restored historic architecture to the stylish, comfortable guest rooms for your party, Hotel Morgan provides an environment where every guest feels cared for in the heart of beautiful downtown Morgantown, now booking 2026 dates in our brand new 8th floor ballroom. Hey, lastly, this is the Extra Medium Sports Broadcast, where couches are safe but the takes are on fire. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week.